I hope I caught that. I caught that one. All right, there we go. Because I was hitting record as the first squeak was happening. And I don't know how much of it, if I caught the beginning of the squeak, or if I caught right at the middle, or if I only was like, if the recording started right at the tail end of the squeak. I won't know until we review the footage, until we review the evidence after the fact. All right, I got a bunch of filming I got to do in short period of time, so let's get to it. Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hi, hello. We have a baggie right there. Hi. Hello. All right. Now let's go back to looking at some of the other kitties. It's my last day of my holiday. It's my last day of holiday. I was going on holiday, but yeah, no, it's the last day of my holiday break that I was taking. Then a bit of an extended time that I got to stay here at the facility, which is nice. Not having to travel back and forth so much. It's good. It's good. It's just a good thing. But today is the last, and I was already doing different things and working with Heidi and getting some stuff done, and then one thing goes and leads to another, and like, oh yeah, and then we got to do this other thing, and then oh, there's this other unforeseen, you know how it goes. Oh my goodness, now we got to go and do this, and then meanwhile you see the sun and it's doing that, and it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta get some stuff filmed for the people. Before I have to sojourn. Hi, Milo. I just went around and did meds. And now I'm doing this. But yeah, gonna have to be going back to, and it's like only gonna be gone for a few days, and then back here, and then I'm back, but it's like the resumption of just the cycle of the work travel cycle that I've been doing for years and years, and man. Sometimes, like a lot of times on the last day, especially now, since just been making a lot of good and happy and right changes, positive changes, with myself and with my health, etc., which is just, naturally kind of bleeding over into just me getting along and being a lot better for the people around me and whatnot, which makes, the times that I have to kind of take off, you just get more gloomy. I was even saying, I was just like, I'm gloomy because I gotta leave. And then I was like, don't be gloomy, babe. And I'm like, but I am. But it's okay. Yeah, it's right. It is. I guess that's like a good thing to kind of be gloomy about. Like, I have a good home. that I'd rather not be away from. And people might be sitting there saying like, yeah, you got all if I had a bunch of tigers in my bed. It's not even, it's just my family and my house and just the stuff I'm used to and just the environment that makes me happy. Bobbeh. Whoa, where did you go? Bobbeh. Bobbeh, what's the matter? She's like, ah. Did I say the first Bobbeh like a little too forcefully? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. That was very inconsiderate of me. Bobbeh. Bobbeh. Brrn. Hey. I grabbed one of these. I grabbed one of these things, and I've just been sitting there just fiddling with it. If you're wondering, like, what does that sound like? That's what it was. Bobbeh. Bobbeh. Hi, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby girl. He's a good girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. We'll put you down. But yeah, no, I had a good time at home. And like the thing is, like sometimes it's so, and I've talked about this before. Hi, hello. That especially kind of like transitioning from like being here all the time to then having to like, you know, only be here on the weekends and going and doing a lot of that stuff, and then you become less and less. Or you have to kind of it's not going to be the same kind of dynamic. It's not going to be the same dynamic as far as like what it is that you are able, the contribution that you're just able to have. And then it's like, you know, like these wavering energy levels where it's like a lot of times you're at work and you're doing all this stuff, and then I'd travel and I'd get here on the weekends, and then it's like there's still a facility and I'm trying to do all this stuff, and then I'm like, I don't want to, and then, you know, but you're still trying to have the same kind of influence and saying like, yeah, but you know what, I'm only here for like, you know, 2 days out of the week, but you should still listen to me on a bunch of stuff. And it's like people are like, no, we've already got a plan, and then you're just like, they're moving on without me, and like you have those struggles, but it's like you have to just kind of redefine and reevaluate, and then not to mention, like I was saying, making different decisions as far as my health is concerned. Well, one of the reasons, you know, you're not able to, well, one of the reasons I was having like such a hard time, you know, just like mentally, physically, emotionally having to deal with the constant swing back and forth. I mean, definitely goes back to the fact I was drinking as much as I was, as consistently and as often as I was. And of course, it's like you tell yourself like, oh, I'm doing this because of you know, like, and that's not the reason, but it's one of the reasons, you know, well, this kind of helps me to detangle and de-stress and whatnot, until you're just doing it at these just obscene levels, and it does way more harm. Yeah, mentally, physically, emotionally. You have some SpaghettiOs on your face. Hi, baby girl. Oh, look at that. Look at that. But that's the silly thing about, you know, when you consume too much, is that oftentimes, whatever the substances might be, but oftentimes people will do those different kinds of things. I mean, like, in order to, like, fulfill a need or aid them in a way, or medicate themselves in a way to try to aid, you know, some issue that they're having, some suffering that they're feeling. And then all too often, like, the thing that they're doing ends up in that roundabout way just contributing even more to the underlying issues that they're already having. So with that, there's definitely a period where, you know, it wasn't always, like, it was kind of a gamble. It was a crapshoot. Never knew if it was going to be, like, if coming home was gonna be the greatest thing, if there was going to be peace, or if like relations with, you know, my loved ones were going to be in a weird way, and not just like this, you know, like, oh my gosh, and it's this craziness, but sometimes it was just kind of like, just kind of a little, just strained enough to where it's just like, just, you know, hey, why don't you just kind of get out of here, kind of thing. Or maybe it's more just like, oh, we actually kind of tend to, it's like, we love you, but there's a lot of times where we're kind of, you know, we got to the point where we're kind of counting down the minutes to when you're able to kind of not, like on some of the rougher weekends, when things were a little bit more discordant, in, you know, you're not always seeing things as clearly as you could be. And then your loved ones are basically reflecting a lot of the angst that you're kind of putting into them. And then again, it's like, it's not to sit there and say like, oh my gosh, it's all terrible. It's like, you'd have good moments and you have things like, oh, we all went out to dinner and we were laughing and we're having a good time. But then it was like a weird car ride home. You know, it's just like stuff. It's like stuff. Yeah. Like, oh, I don't know. And then you just weird kind of feeling just different, argumentative about something like that. And then it's just like, all right, like we're good. You know, we had the dinner and now we're just kind of counting the times when you can kind of hump along. Yeah, it was like that. It was getting to that point, definitely. But in the time since, because it's not just stopping drinking. It's you know, I mean, cripes, I went to rehab, and I've had a lot of significant like follow-up treatments, like a lot of different therapy things. I wasn't intending on this to become one of these, but it's okay. And in the process of just like really just making a lot of improvements, a lot of like full spectrum, whole circle, all encompassing, you know, like doing a lot of values identification and working on things and inner narratives and communication and the way that I communicate with other people, the way I communicate with myself, on top of, you know, not putting the sauce back. And then, like, you know, the subsequent physiologic changes that go along with that. It's a slow process. It's a slow process of getting better that takes time. And then through that, it's like, I start to see things clearly. I start to communicate better. I'm just a much different kind of individual. I don't have this same kind of like this ultra need, like I need to just find my peace. And it's like, that was Joe, you're upsetting Fred. You're upsetting Fred, Joe. But I think that was the other thing. It's like, I'm still unpacking. Oh gosh, I'm still unpacking a lot of that. You know, for years. Oh my gosh, tipping them back every night. Oh yeah, every day. It was the daily, every night, all the time. It was a, yeah. But hi. And still in a lot of ways, because it's not just like any one, he's like, oh, you drank this much because of this silver bullet thing. And it's not like that. There's a bunch of different things, whether it be experiential, whether it be just like, you know, a combination of experience, a combination of genetic things, a combination of like the way that you're, you know, like social upbringing, like different things that you've been exposed to, and just different things you're dealing with. It's like a whole bunch of different stuff kind of all put together. So there's not just one thing to unpack. It's a bunch of things. And still kind of going through a lot of that stuff. But a lot of anesthetizing because of high levels of stress, because of the amount of work that I was doing all the time, which, you know, had a significant effect on my nervous system, which then I turned to, you know, like self-medicating with depressants to try to tune it down. And that was always a thing. It was always very structured and scheduled. It was never like, oh, I gotta go hair of the dog, put a bunch of bourbon in my coffee in the morning. It was never like that. No, it was always just in the evening, like, this is going to be my amounts, and these are going to be the things, and it's like this is my nightly medicine. That's just kind of how it was. But the dosage kept on going up and up and up to cartoonish amounts near the end. I mean, seriously. But yeah, that's what I was saying before, is like one of the many reasons, but a big reason was because, yeah, I was trying to medicate stress. I was trying to medicate the effects and feelings of an overactive nervous system, but not realizing that by doing it, and doing it at the level that I was actually really doing a big disservice to my nervous system, which was then causing me to feel even more stress, which was then causing me to be just kind of like staticky and more, prone to just kind of like, kind of things, or being more irritable, or just being more just like, or if my sense of peace was broken, like, oh my gosh, and or maybe if I'm trying to focus on something, and then someone kind of like, I'm just like, what do you do? And then it's like, fine, all right, geez, I'm sorry, just a grump. That's what it really was, just a grump, and no one likes to be around a grump. If that's just who you are, just a grump. And people are like, oh my gosh, but you're so wonderful and fun and nice and on the videos and everything. It's like, yeah, I like to fancy myself as as a professional entertainer in a lot of ways. Even though I'm not, you still think of yourself as that. So it's like, hey, when the cameras are on, you're on, kind of thing. Even though it's like the style of communication, the style of content that I do, it's just another kind of like color palette extension of just my life and my experience that I'm already having anyway. It's not to sit there and say like, oh no, I put on like the Derek mask for this. No, it's, I may take some of the volume dials. You know how like you have your different kind of settings, like in your car, like I'm going to put the bass up over here and the treble, and I'm going to have the thing and the speakers in the front and the rear and the back and stuff like. You can adjust some of the dials, but the music coming through is still the same. So that's how, like, whenever it is, decline. I was having a call come through. So the music is the same, even though, like, I'll adjust like some of the dials. So that's when I say like the personality that I employ to do this type of content. This whole thing, where was this even? It was all going because I was getting forlorn, or I was getting bummed at the idea of leaving, when sometimes in the past, in the last few years even, there'd be times where like my, like Heidi, family, myself, like sometimes the weekends would be good, and then sometimes I would just be like, ugh, and then they would be like, and then and then everyone is just like, this is gorgeous, let's just try again next weekend. It's just and like I said, there was still a lot of love, but you just get frustrated. Them and me, it's just the whole thing. And so that's why I think it's like, there's a bittersweetness to when I come home now and like things are like genuinely, it's not to sit there and say that there's not ups and downs. It's like you live with a person, you have family, like that's just, family is what it is, and they're not always going to see eye to eye on all these different things. But is it like ridiculously better? Way, way, way better. So much better. Oh my gosh, so much better. Yeah, like if I'll just put like, hey, free tip out there, if you're basically like knocking the sauce back on the daily, on the regular and everything, and then you're having difficulties with family and stuff like that, and then you've tried a bunch of different ways, like maybe if I exercise more, or maybe if I like, watch some of these different videos, maybe if I meditate a little more, like, well, and then you start to think like, what about the drinking? And if you're just like, no, I'm not going to give up that. That's not a problem. I'm telling you, just take a break, because that's the other thing. It's like I just think of it right now. It's like I'm just taking a break for how long? I don't know, just for however long is needed. Just taking a break. Maybe someday, I'll kind of dip the toes back into the waters of moderation. But for the most part, right now, I just have no desire And I'm fine with taking a few years off. That's fine. And just kind of reacquainting myself with my value system, just, letting my body repair itself, and then restoring really truly good, honest connections, with the people I love. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is I was here for an extended period of time, which really is it's weird. It's the first really truly extended break that I've had back home. I did have a bit of an extended break after I got out of rehab, and I was here for a little bit of time. But then that's just still because it's right after rehab, and you're I don't know, you're like a weird pie coming out of the oven, So I was still gooey, needed to kind of sit on the windowsill for a little bit. What are you doing? Are you being sneaky? So now I guess maybe this is the first time where it's I have sat on the windowsill, No. I've sat on the windowsill, so this is the first time, and I don't know, I've felt just in the past few months, things are starting to kind of click into place a lot better than they have in the past. A lot of brain fog is going away. Like I said, I've been running a lot more. I've been doing different things, reading, and it just, there's a full spectrum, just a whole bunch of just stuff, and it's good. So I come home, and again, it's just the brightness and the communication and the different things. Like I said, there was brightness and happiness and love before, but now it's even, that part of my life is supercharged. It's hypercharged. So then having to say goodbye to that, and having to say goodbye, or just for the time being, even if it's just for a few days, I gotta go back. That sucks. That's what I'm saying. Feel gloomy, but it's not a bad problem to have. Not a bad problem to have, because that means that I got some good stuff going for me. That's all right. That's all right. Anyway, I was not expecting. It's funny. That's the great thing about webcasting. I literally, because it's I only have so much daylight left, I'm just going to go ahead and I got to do a really quick webcast in the upper. I'm going to do a quick webcast in the lower, and then I got to go do a fancy cast. I was thinking about, I just got to just go pop, so that I can spend a little bit more time, with Heidi before I got to leave. I got to pack up my stuff and everything. And then I started going on a ramble. So I appreciate you humoring me as I've babbled. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carescuetexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. We'll see you later. All right. Bye-bye.
Monkey's buttered toast. Munchie saw a ghost. Miko weighs the most.